Good morning, welcome to a morning review. This is Kim Watson speaking for Ezeetrader on Monday, the 2nd of November. Okay, looking at the euro dollar first, and the obvious picture that sort of sits here is the monthly pivot. A new monthly pivot is sitting quite a way above us, about 50% of reversal before. So there is a potential at some point in the month we could run up to these sorts at this level at least, and it could be earlier rather than later. But the weekly pivot sits currently just slightly below us, as does the daily. So we have got, and plus we've got a bit of a gap going on. So the probability may be better this morning that we see a retracement, maybe back as far as the weekly pivot. Let's just look at the shorter time frames here, and at the moment we're seeing this bit of a rally going on. Now, if it breaks the upper side here, well, perhaps it's just not going to come back for that gap fill. It's going to just push on towards the R1 on Friday's highs. So there's certainly a potential, maybe even back up towards the 200 as the monthly pivot sits up above there. So there is the draw to the upside there as well. Probability ways, normally I'd be looking to be much happier with the short side and get rid of this week daily and weekly pivot out of the way, and more importantly, or as importantly, fill this gap that's sort of sitting there. So that's sort of higher on the agenda for me at the moment. Just need to check that gap on it. I'm just going to look at another currency provider if I can and see if it comes in. Let me just pause this a second. Oh, don't need to. There we go. Yep, the gap sits there as well. So, okay, I'm not going to go back and change backwards and forwards. So you can see there's the gap there as well. Okay, so we've definitely got the gap on the euro. So possibilities, we break the upper trend line as I've mentioned on the chart a moment ago. Maybe looking for towards Friday's highs, but certainly the R1 area and maybe Friday's highs. And if it gets a runner back up towards the 200 moving average. Okay, let's have a look at cable. Now, cable had a good run. It's moved up quite nicely here, getting pretty close to those prior highs. This area of there was plenty of supply around this 155 area previously. Now there's no gap on cable. It's got some targets below us in terms of its daily. There's the weekly and the monthly pivots all sitting below us. Whether this would be a good enough draw, we'll see. The probability is quite good they'll all get hit at some point, of course, this week or month. Relative to the particular pivot. We've also got the dailies below us at the moment. So if we look on the hourly here, so we've got the daily, weekly, and monthly below us. That's not to say we wouldn't get a shove up, and if we do break through this upper trend line, I will be looking at the long side towards the daily R1 area, and that will run us back. So I get that level of 54.91. Let's just run back to the other chart here. 54.91 is not going to be too far away from the 155 area, of course. So it runs us back into these prior highs there, and there is a chance if we do start breaking through though, it's a key support area, resistance area now, but it's been tested sufficiently, so we may, even if it's just a breakthrough, we may just get a slight run through there, taking the stops, but hitting the orders that are sitting above there and maybe running on a little, but there's certainly a chance if it does run up there. So be watching that carefully over the next day or so. But as I say, my preference is to see the daily, weekly, and monthly pivots taking out below us. Okay, dollar yen, my favourite. Not. If I can find the other part of the chart, it would be good. But you can see from the 4-hourly chart to the right here, it's pretty choppy, and there's little price action going on here that's of excitement to me. There was a minor gap. One thing we have got is we've got the monthly pivot below us, and then sorry, I'm going to go back to the hourly now. That's come straight away. We've got the weekly and daily pivots above us. So maybe if everything works together, we see some dollar strength in this particular case here. We could be pushing in to get a weekly and daily pivots hit. So it needs just to get through those 21s. There was a bit of a gap, but it's mostly, it looked like it predominantly got filled there. But certainly this does fit in line with the euro pound situation of what we're looking for in terms of weakness on both of them to achieve their weekly and daily pivots. Okay, and finally the Aussie dollar. Now, there is news. I'll talk about news generally in a moment because there's some UK news and US news coming out today. Okay, the Aussie dollar is pretty close to its monthly pivot here, weekly pivot above us as well. So it's a bit of the odd one out at the moment in terms of both the pivots above us there, the weekly and the monthly, and also, well, we've got the daily below us, so it's a bit of a pickle. Now, I had drawn this trend line on a short while ago because it just crossed through it, but I can really address that a little bit maybe, and I'd be looking at that at the end of this hourly candle anyway to take any decisions. But certainly there's the possibility of it coming off. If the others are coming off, it may just come off towards its daily, maybe a bit further through, back towards that hourly 50 that sits there. 34 and 50 all sit around together there. So I'll be watching that. Now, break of the highs again, it could just push it. If it does get a break of the highs, it could just push through towards that monthly pivot, weekly pivot and maybe monthly pivot. So there's a possibility of any sort of bounce through those levels. But at the moment, I'm really looking for the end of this hour. So if this just messes around here, well, I can't put the bottom trend line I've got here on until that's really finished this candle, but it's just an estimate at the moment. Okay, news-wise today, we've got this morning, 9:30 for the pound. We've got the manufacturing and production figures coming out at 9:30. Key numbers really often give us 20, 25, 30 pip moves depending on their figures. Can give us a bit more of a kicker than that, but it was always a sort of a decent sized number coming out. And then at 3 o'clock we've got the ISM, US ISM manufacturing PMI coming out. So data coming out today, that's the significant numbers. There are some less significant in Europe. We've got the Italian manufacturing, French, German manufacturing final. Now that 855, the German final manufacturing may just give a little buzz, but the flash numbers that come out earlier in the month and give the bigger kicker there. Okay, that is it for me. There's nothing else at the moment, so hope you have a great day. Bye for now.